Hi, my name is Addy Feuerbacher. I am 26 years old. I live in Tampa, Florida, and I compete in the wellness division in Class B. I just competed at Junior USA about 3 weeks ago. I took third in my class. We're going to go to North Americans on September 1st through 3rd, which is in about 12 weeks. So it gives me, I'm jumping into another prep. But it gives me some time to put on a little bit more size and try to get a little bit tighter. So I'm excited. But yeah, I'm a physical therapist assistant and a personal trainer and nutrition coach. And I'm an open book. So I'm excited for this podcast.
How did you actually initially get into fitness?
I played soccer from like the ages of 4 all the way to 18. I stopped in high school. I was supposed to go play college ball, decided against it. My sister played college ball. She said that your life is the sport. You have 3-a-day practices and you're also trying to study. So I decided not to do it. And I went to PTA school right after high school instead. And I've just always been an athlete. I started weightlifting when I was 14. And so it just kind of always stuck. I've always been to the gym. And then I started competitively bodybuilding when I was about 22.
What got you into like wanting to do the PTA stuff?
My assistant soccer coach in high school was a PTA. And I remember I had just maxed out, like our weightlifting coach had made us like max out on squats like right before a game. I was like in tears, sprinting up and down the field. Like that's how sore I was. And so she started like stretching me out and working on me a little bit. And I was just like, what do you do? And she told me that she was a PTA, and she told me that her schooling was only 18 months and that her salary was pretty competitive for only 18 months of college. So I was like, well, I kind of want to do that. I originally wanted to be a physical therapist, but then I looked into like just how long the schooling is. And to go to school for 8 years, it was just like, I might as well just go to med school then, or I might as well go be a PA.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like being a PTA. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, a lot of people that I went to school with.
Yeah, I was looking at like how much a PT was making versus how much a PTA was making. And it's really not that much greater than how much a PTA makes full time. And it's a fraction of the schooling. And if you, we like, the thing is, like, the only difference between a PTA and a PT is they do the evaluation, they create the plan of care, and then they pass them off to the PTA, and we do everything else. Like, we can basically do everything a PT can do except deep needling, manipulations of the spine, and joint. We can still do joint mobilizations, but we can't really do joint manipulations. And we don't do the plan of care. We don't do the initial evaluation, but everything else is fair game. As long as we have the supervision of a physical therapist, they don't even have to be in the same building. They can be just by phone call in the same general region. And so it's just kind of like they need to either pay their PTs more for the amount of schooling they're requiring. I think they're trying to make PTA an actual bachelor's degree now, but it didn't weigh out. I was like, I'm not going to school for 8 years. They only make like 80 to 100K.
Are you struggling with the common challenges of marketing and managing systems? Well, let me introduce you to our new sponsor, Big Play Digital Solutions. At Big Play Digital, they specialize in helping fitness professionals like yourself overcome these hurdles. Their mission is simple: to provide seamless support in digital marketing and system management so you can focus on what you do best, serving your clients. Now here's the reality. Many of us fitness professionals find ourselves spending more time on administrative tasks and marketing efforts than actually working with our clients. It's time to change that. Big Play Digital has the perfect solution. First, they create and execute effective digital marketing strategies tailored to your needs. From boosting your online visibility, attracting the right clients, and boosting retention, they've got your back. SEO, email marketing, social media marketing, content creation, they've got the expertise. But that's not all. They also offer comprehensive system management solutions. Their business management software, specifically designed for the fitness industry, streamlines processes, automates administrative tasks, and enhances client communications. More time, less hassle. The result, a more streamlined, efficient, and profitable fitness business that can compete effectively in today's digital landscape. Sounds like the solution you've been looking for, right? So if you're ready to take your fitness business to the next level, I encourage you to connect with Big Play Digital Solutions. They'll tailor their services to meet your specific needs and help you succeed. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Empower your fitness business with Big Play Digital Solutions. Connect with them today.
Yeah, we had to do a bunch of prerequisites and co-requisites before the program. We had to apply to the program just like people in the to go for into PT school. We had to go in an interview to actually get into the program. We had a specific GPA, everything. It was actually very stressful. PTA school, all I did was study and go to school, and then I worked part time as a nanny. I know that my schooling prepared me very well to be out in the field, and I know that I'm very good at what I do. I can always be better. I could always, and that's what continuing education is for.
After you got out of sports, right? And you're getting back into the gym, for you, did you take like a lot of the influence from strength conditioning at first? Like how did you go back into the gym once you didn't have that sports need for it anymore?
I kind of just kept going to the gym after high school. I kept weightlifting. Like I kept just kind of doing weightlifting style workouts, which is very much different than bodybuilding style training. I ate whatever I wanted. I was only 18, 19 to 21 years old. So my diet really wasn't that great, but I went to the gym every day. I had my split. Uh, I took a little bit of a break when I was in PTA school just because it was like I was just at school until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night studying. But and I gained a lot of weight then. But I just kind of got back into it, and then yeah, I've always kind of just been a little bit of a gym rat. And then I started dating this one guy, and he was a competitor, and he told me to get into it, and he set me up with his coach, was Mike Matassa. Um, what's up, Mike? And I mean, I still talk to Mike to this day. He's a judge. He's an NPC judge. He has his own shows out in Daytona Beach, just pretty well. But yeah, I've just kind of always been in the gym.
Was putting on that weight tough for you just from being an athlete and always kind of being in shape?
Yes, and that's tough for a lot of athletes. And the thing is with athletes is I did I worked for ability rehabilitation, and I was contracted out to I keep doing that. I was contracted out to a bariatric clinic, which is for morbidly obese people going in for weight loss surgery. They either get the band around their stomach, or they get the gastric bypass or a balloon. They had multiple surgeries that they performed. And they contracted me out as the exercise coach on staff. And a lot of our patients were former athletes, former pro athletes, former collegiate athletes. And the thing is with athletes is they continue to eat like an athlete, like they're running up and down a field for 90 minutes or a core or whatever they're doing, but they're not exercising like they used to. They're not burning 1,000+ calories in 90 minutes or however much, or practicing 3 times a day. And so they put on a ton of weight. Eventually it catches up with them eventually. So yeah, it definitely messed with my body image. Yeah, I remember like looking back at my college graduation photos and being like, oh my gosh, thickums over here. But and even putting weight on after shows, it a lot of competitors go through the post show blues, putting on a considerable amount of water weight, not a considerable amount of body fat, but some body fat. It does mess with your self image quite a bit. I've been struggling the past 3 weeks, I won't lie. But I was going through my little blue post show blues, and I just started feeling like myself again and getting back on track with my drinking my water, staying on my meals. I was sick for a week. Junior USA was May 18th, and then I backed off from the gym a little bit, but still trained. And then I was sick the following week, and just like sick like a dog all week, and still ate whatever I wanted, and wasn't pushing the food. We call it like pushing the food around, like going to the gym and using those calories. And then this week I've been finally like getting back in my groove, but it was rough. And then I had my grandmother's funeral on Monday, so then it was just a lot.
Yeah.
So
Well,
today
sorry
was a good
about
day.
that.
Yesterday was a good day.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's interesting though when you think about like athletes, starting to gain weight after high school, after college, you would think it'd be just almost like a common thing for the educational side of that to like be better in terms of like, okay, we're going to teach you how to eat when you're with us.
I remember in high school they used to have those pre-game meals, and they'd have like Panera bagels, spaghetti, what it's just a bunch of garbage. And as a bodybuilder now, I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I get the whole carb up thing, and they're like, these kids don't need that much food and that type of food, you know?
Right. So was bodybuilding something that you started because of that weight, or what did you do to, or what like finally kicked it into gear to be like, okay, I'm putting on some weight. I need to do something about it.
So after college, I got a job with Blue Water Therapy, and it was an aquatic physical therapy facility, which was a really cool experience. I was able, there's not a lot of aquatics out there, and it's really beneficial to patients, especially with like older patients that have poor balance, like any type of person that's dealt with a fracture and they're in the phases of healing. It's completely offloads them, and they're able to walk in the water. Or anybody that's wheelchair bound, they can still use their legs a bit. They can also walk in the water. So that was a really neat experience. But you're in the water all day long, and I was running the aerobics class during lunch, so I just, and the weight just came off. Like I was working out all day long with patients and doing the aqua aerobics class. So I really didn't get a lunch break. So from like 8 o'clock in the morning to like 5 o'clock at night, I'm moving. So the weight just kind of came off naturally, and then I was still going to the gym on top of that. So it was just kind of, just I knew that I when I was in school that the gym's always going to be there. I could get back in shape. I really just need to get done with school and like fast food, something quick and easy.
Right.
And I got done with school. I got out, graduated, passed my boards, and we're here now. So
It's so crazy. You think like, okay, a lot of that progress was just you having like a very physical job.
mm,
And then you think like, oh, that's how it was for like most of human history. Like
yeah,
people were just like physical during the day. And then
yeah,
like that
right,
was all they needed to be healthy and to like be able to do things forever. It's crazy to think the transition that we're in now as a society,
yeah.
to where we need to go to the gym. Like we have to go to the gym or we have to do something physical for an hour a day or whatever it is. Like just that's another part of our life instead of it just being ingrained in the work that we do.
Working in physical therapy, I see so many people with neck issues, low back issues, mid back issues from working at a sedentary job and not moving their bodies after, like going straight from work to the couch and eating garbage. And it's like your body's inflamed because you're eating garbage and you're sitting at a desk all day like this.
Right.
So like you need to strengthen your periscapular muscles. You need to work on your posture. You need to make sure that you're stretching these muscles, because if you're sitting all day long, like these are your legs. If you're sitting all day long, like your hip flexors are gonna get tight and your glutes are gonna get weak. And if you don't stretch or move those muscles or take time to stand up and walk around, like maybe every hour, maybe every other hour while you're working a sedentary job, it's really going to just take a beating on your body, and you're going to stiffen up over time. And then there's just going to be one little thing and everything starts to fall apart.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of people who come in who are like they try to make a change but then they go too drastic and they get like a standing desk but then they stand all day and they have problems from that?
Yes, exactly that actually. So they're doing good by getting the standing desk. However, if they don't address those muscle imbalances that we just discussed, like tight hip flexors, weak glutes, now they're standing on like malaligned joints. So it might be a little bit better because they're standing up, but now because like if your hip flexors are tight, it's going to throw off your center of gravity, and it's also going to throw up your posture, and then it can throw off the shift, like the weight in your knees. Again, everything's connected, and so like the standing desk is awesome. Those little treadmill desks are awesome, but there's nothing like good old fashioned stretching and strengthening. Like
Right.
you have to target the certain muscles, like especially the hip abductors, because the hip abductors don't necessarily activate too much when you're just walking. So I have a lot of patients that tell me, "Well, I walk a lot," and it's like, yeah, but that's not the same. Like walking is great. Like, please get up and get your steps in. My step goal for on top of all my workouts per day is like 10 to 12,000 steps from my coach. So that walking's awesome, but it's not the same as strengthening in a certain plane of motion and with intent. So yeah, just addressing muscle and muscle imbalances. It's usually tight hip flexors, usually weak glutes, and hip abductors, tight hamstrings. If
Right.
everybody just stretched just a little bit and strengthened just a little bit, their backs would thank them and me.
If for just like the common person and they're a stubborn person, would you rather them focus more on the stretching aspect or more on the strengthening aspects?
I'd have to watch them walk. It just depends on how stiff they really are. Usually I send them home with an exercise program, like a little packet, or have a software that I can text them the program. I'll usually print it for them and text it to them. Like there's really no excuse. You can't lose it. If you do lose it, you have the link on your phone. I know you don't lose your phone that much. Um, so it usually involves like 6 stretches that typically goes after the commonly tight muscles that everybody should be doing. And if they need more emphasis on a certain muscle group, I'll add more stretches in. And then like 3 strengthening exercises to help strengthen their glutes and their hip abductors. And if they need more, then I'll add more. But I usually, if they want more and they're like a good patient and they actually do what they're supposed to do, I'll add more. But I'm like, if they keep saying, "Are you doing your if I ask them if are you doing your exercises?" and they're like, "No," I'm like, "Well, keep on trying to do that packet I sent you. I'm not gonna add more onto it." No.
Are you looking for a supplement company that can help take your fitness game to the next level? Look no further than All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Their cutting-edge supplements are scientifically formulated to give you the edge you need in the gym and in life. Whether you're looking to build muscle, increase endurance, or boost recovery time, All Sport Pharmaceuticals has you covered. And with a wide range of products designed for people of all levels, you're sure to find the perfect supplement for your needs. So why wait? Give your body the support it deserves with All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Visit their website today to learn more and start achieving your fitness goals. Are you tired of struggling with marketing and system management? Well, Big Play Digital is here to change the game for you. Their mission is simple: to provide seamless support in digital marketing and system management so you can focus on what truly matters, delivering exceptional fitness service to your clients. Big Play Digital understands the unique demands of the fitness industry. They've tailored their software and services specifically for your needs. From SEO to email marketing, social media, and content creation, they've got it all covered. Big Play Digital offers comprehensive system management solutions designed specifically for fitness professionals. It's time to take your fitness business to new heights.
But yeah, I think the stretching aspect first, and then we can always add on to the strengthening.
Right.
I'm not saying go and do squats on barbell squats with like 135 on your back. It's really easy strengthening exercises. It's not like weight training. They're like body weight exercises just to activate the glutes, because a normal person that comes in for physical therapy, it's not typically they don't train and they don't really go to the gym. Um, and it's like body weight work, like the bridge, like a body weight bridge, or side lying hip abduction. Very, very basic, easy exercises that help activate those muscles. But
It's so crazy that people will like get into a position that they don't feel good in, right? Like just from whatever their lifestyle is or whatever.
mm,
And then they'll, whether they kind of have to or not, seek out help. And then they don't follow through. Like that to me
yeah,
is the most bizarre aspect. It's like you are in pain. You've like targeted a person that can help you, and then you don't follow through. Like, what is
yeah,
that about a human?
yeah. They're like, I just didn't have the time to do your exercises. I'm like, well, I'm not giving them to you for my health because I do my exercises. I'm giving them to you for your health. So you need to do them, and they're only going to help you. They're not going to make you extremely sore like you just did a crazy leg workout with a trainer. They're very easy. And they're just that weak. Their muscles are just that like that unstable. Like their back is it's usually the low back. Next to it's all just and posture. Man, I don't know how many times I've tell a person to fix their posture. And for a minute there, I was actually almost getting sick of physical, like working in physical therapy. I lost my passion for it for just a minute because it was just like I was like a broken record. I was dealing with patients that were in pain all day and whiners, a lot of whiners, and they don't listen. They don't want to listen. So it was just like, man, like it started getting pretty draining. I don't know. I got my fire back. I think it was when I worked in South Florida. I took a contract in South Florida. They asked me to relocate. They offered me like $35 an hour, which is very, very good pay for a PTA. And I was like, sure, let me do it. So I moved down there. They promised me I wouldn't be like in a patient mill where I would be seeing a bunch of patients an hour. And then I get there and I start working, and that's exactly what happened. I saw like 25 patients in a day.
Wow.
And so 25 people that are in pain, that are coming to you, that have medical backgrounds, like and drug protocols that they're taking. Some take over the counters, but they're if you're dealing with a lot of elderly people, they're in a lot of stuff. And they also let for example, I would get like a balance patient. Like they're there to train for balance training. And it's you need to put them in positions or on a piece of equipment that challenges their balance, and they're already a fall risk. And they put me with one of those patients, and then a rotator cuff repair, and another balance training patient. And like if a person falls on your watch, you can lose your license
Wow.
and to practice. So it was just like very draining. And I was like, I don't even want to work in physical therapy anymore. But it was really just the environment I was working in. I was being overworked. Um, so yeah, then I moved back to Tampa, and I got my job back with the chiropractic clinic that I work with. I love it there. We have a really great relationship with the chiropractor that owns it, and I'm back.
It almost seems like a lot of the physical stuff, like whether it's the like physical therapy, fitness in general, like with a personal trainer, bodybuilding coach, it almost seems like so much of it comes down to like convincing someone. There's varying levels to how much you have to convince a person, based on their dedication to it. But I think at the end of the day, like it's psychology. It's like, how can, because the information is there. If they really wanted to, they could like gather that information and utilize it, right? But so many
Mm-hmm.
people don't. So to me, it's like, how do you communicate that information? How do you like inspire and motivate someone and almost like show them that this is possible? Because I think so many people don't think that they can have better balance or that they will end up feeling better or whatever the case is.
I had a friend that tried to commit suicide, and he shot himself and survived. And the doctors told his parents to pull the plug, that he was just gonna be a vegetable his whole life. That then it was he'd never feed himself ever again. And then it was he'd never sit up on his own ever again. And then it was he'd never be able to walk again. And he walks.
Wow.
He's very spastic. He walks with a hemi walker because he kind of presents like a stroke. And uh and it's not perfect gait, but like it's possible, you know. And I have a lot of patients that'll tell me like, oh, my doctor says I won't be able to do this ever again. And it's just like, I'm not saying that your doctor's not a smart man, and I'm not saying I'm a doctor, but I think it's possible, and we can do this together. And you just have to believe that it's possible, and you have to work with me.
Right. It's crazy like how much faith people do put in doctors, which is I think a good thing, right? But like to a certain degree, a doctor isn't like this all-knowing person.
Being in a very intense sport like bodybuilding, and then having to reel it back when you're dealing with people that have maybe never set foot in a gym or don't really go to the gym at all. It's kind of hard, but through practice and seeing more and more patients, I got a little bit better at it. But initially, when I was real gung ho, like fresh out of school, I had just started bodybuilding, and I was treating geriatric patients, and they have a hard time just standing up from a chair. And so trying to find that balance has been a little difficult. And also dealing with these people all day long. I wouldn't say dealing with, but treating these people all day long, and listening to them like, hey, like, I'm so sore from the last time I saw you. Like, can we please, like, really, can we just reel it back a little bit? Then I go to the gym and like beat the crap out of myself for 3 hours. It's just like, come on, like you're sore, which is completely normal. It is a normal muscular response to be sore after any type of resistance training, and having to educate them on that, but then also like keep not overdoing it to the point where they stay compliant though, because they'll just start canceling their appointments and they won't show up.
Wow.
And that's not what you want. You want them to be better. So trying to find that happy balance, a happy medium. Dealing with post-surgical patients, that's tough. Like even a total knee replacement, total hip replacements, rotator cuff repairs. Those people are in so much pain and they can't do anything for like 4 to 6 weeks. They have to stay immobilized in their sling. And so imagine like not moving your arm for 4 to 6 weeks and then having someone try to stretch your arm back into those ranges of motion. Like those poor people. I feel bad. I put grown men in tears. And it's like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, please just keep going. It's fine. uh,
What would you say like your favorite if you know working with people or and maybe in which you said you really like kind of what you're doing now, but like of all the different places and environments and populations that you've worked with, what would you say is probably your favorite?
I'm probably athletes. Athletes are fun. I had a few athletes at that South Florida clinic, and one of these kids, he was going to like a school with like Rick Ross's son, and it was a really good foot, like any school. It was a private school, and it was known to have really great um, athletic program. And he had a really bad ankle sprain, and so we were able to, with ankle sprains, you need to let it heal a little bit, but it's all about stabilization after that. And so we put him through drills, and that's a lot of fun. Um, Other than that, I'd say like orthopedics, like total hip replacements, total knee replacements, a lot of joint replacements, because it's fun to watch how much they really progress. Because they come to you and they're all swollen, and if you saw what a doctor did to, I tell them, like, if you saw what the doctor did to your knee, like they sawed off your actual knee and hammered in a new one, you'd understand why you're in so much pain. Um, so those are fun because they can hardly walk when they first come in to see you, and then when they walk out, see, like they don't need a cane, they don't need any assistive device, they have full range of motion, and it's a lot of fun to watch just how much they progress. And every time they come in, usually there's some type of improvement in whether it be range of motion, whether it be strength, pain decreasing. They were able to get up off the ground or squat down to pick something up. It's those are pretty cool. Joint replacements are pretty fun to treat.
You mentioned ankles and it made me think of like an athlete like Steph Curry who had like a lot of ankle problems in his career, but then it seemed like he has had less maybe. Is there something like physical? Is there something like physiological that he was changing like or was it something that he could like take or eat or something like that that he was doing maybe or was it just like like you said better stabilization?
He probably has the best physical therapist in the country working with him. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's probably he's doing his homework. I mean, he might even be getting platelet-rich protein injections, like PRP injections, or what else is there? Stem cell injections. I have no idea. There's a lot of things available, especially to one of the top athletes. But yeah, they have the best of the best. PTs, massage therapists, trainers. So it
Yeah.
could be everything.
How do we set people up for better success? Like what what are we teaching our kids so in 50 years they're not in the same position? At some point we have to learn and we have to like teach people because what's the good in my grandkids dealing with the same problems that I'm dealing with? It's not like that's not the point of living in a society. The point of society, I feel like, is to continually get better and like live a healthier, a better, whatever that it means, life.
I like that. I think it's just access to education. I mean, there's only so much that you can prevent when it comes to like illnesses and disease. But in my scope of practice, like if people just took care of themselves, like they just ate a healthy diet and moved and exercised, most of the stuff would be preventable. I'm not saying injuries and or severe osteoarthritis to where they require a joint replacement, but like let's say a lot of type 2 diabetes can be prevented. A lot of congestive heart failure and pulmonary edema can be prevented by just taking care of oneself. So I guess like educating the youth, educating everyone on how to properly eat, how to properly move is going to be help a lot of um, diseases be prevented. But even then, like there is plenty of education out there. This is a computer in your pocket. You have access to anything, and it's just a matter of they don't want it. They don't want it.
Yeah. I think that's, it's interesting because like we do have all this access now, but then people are using those tools for the wrong reasons. It's crazy all the hoops.
Yeah, all the hoops that they have to jump through. It just depends on the insurance, man. If the health insurance requires them to go through that 4 to 6 weeks physical therapy and then to go get injections, if that doesn't work, then we'll let you have this hip replacement. That's just ridiculous because if I know when my knee starts showing signs that like I can't rehab it, it needs to be replaced, I'll like rip it out. I don't care if I'm in my 40s. Rip that thing out and give me a titanium one, man.
Right.
Just because I see like how how um how great the replacements are nowadays. They last like 30 years. They used to only you used to have to go get revision every 10 years on the older replacements, and now they last like 30 years. So if I'm in my 40s or 50s and I need a knee replacement, I'm the thing's gonna be good till I'm dead, unless I live to be in my hundreds.
Right.
Um, but it's just sad that the hoops they have to jump through. And I'm not a fan of injections. I think they have benefit in some aspects, but if people just continue to get injections after, especially, I should say, corticosteroids, which is the typical injection that they want people to go get, is the corticosteroids. Um, yes, they have anti-inflammatory properties. However, um, they also mess with the integrity of the ligaments and tendons surrounding the joint that they're trying to take the inflammation down. So if you have someone that keeps on getting injections and injections and injections, um, and they're not going to go and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and there's going to be a point in time where a doctor can no longer ethically give them injections. And now, after they've gotten a series of injections, say it's a rotator cuff repair, this is the worst sign, the worst ones. They get all these injections to try to take down the inflammation due to osteoarthritis, or rheumatoid arthritis, or the inflammation from a tear. And now the doctor can no longer give them injections. So now they're going to go get into surgery. Because they've done so much corticosteroid injection to the site, they can't suture the tendon together because now the tendon's all mushy from it's like trying to sew two pieces of lunch meat together. It just rips right out.
Wow.
So it's like I'm just not a huge fan of injections. That was my TED talk on injections.
This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout. Looking for a supplement company that's as serious about your fitness goals as you are? All Sport Pharmaceuticals is here to help. Their top-of-the-line supplements are designed to help you get the most out of every workout with ingredients that have been scientifically proven to enhance performance and recovery. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out on your fitness journey, All Sport Pharmaceuticals has the perfect supplements to help you achieve your goals. Plus, with their commitment to quality and safety, you can trust that you're getting a product that's both effective and reliable. So what are you waiting for? Take your fitness game to the next level with All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Visit the website today to learn more. It just seems like there's a lot of background stuff going on. But I want to talk to you also about your bodybuilding and stuff like that. At what point did you actually get into the sport and what made you get into it? I mean, you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier on, but like what propelled you into full on, I want to be a bodybuilder?
When I was 20, we're going to sad story for a second. When I was 21, my sister committed suicide and I found her, and it was a pretty traumatic experience, she shot herself. And I wasn't eating, I wasn't really sleeping. It was really hard for me. And so I started working, I just started going to the gym, like killing myself in the gym. It got made me so tired. I'd literally wake up at 5 a.m. I'd only maybe sleep 1 or 2 hours a night. Wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, then go work that job in the pool all day long, and then maybe go to the gym again. And then I could actually sleep a few hours at night. And then I started, this guy was working at my gym, and I started dating him, and he was a competitor. And that's when he hooked me up with his coach, Mike, and I started getting into it. And then I started attending posing seminars, and I just had really great shape and a really great base because I played sports my whole life. And I just started to get better and better and better. And when I would go to these posing seminars, they have a lot of pros that go to them, and they just kind of give a little bit of pointers and almost do like a posing session with the people who attend the posing seminar. And I had a lot of people telling me like, man, just wait, just keep going. You belong on a national stage. You just have to keep going. You have great shape, you have a great base. And I just stuck with it. And I took like a year off. After Universe in 2021, I kind of fell out of love with it. I took 10th in my class. It was pretty good for your first national show. I was only 24 years old, but I just I lost my fire for it. Probably because I lived by myself. I worked 2 jobs while I was prepping for that show. Everybody goes into that show thinking or wanting to get their pro card. That's just how it goes. And it was like I put myself in a considerable amount of debt because I was doing it all by myself. I had no sponsorships, or I think I had someone helping me out just a little bit, but it wasn't like the suit sponsorship that I have now or the supplement sponsorship that I have now. And and it was tough. And so I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. It's a very expensive sport. Um, and yeah, I just kind of like fell off. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it again. Maybe I'll compete again. Maybe I'll try again for my pro card a few years from now. I'm still under the age of 30, so I got some time. But um, then I started hanging out with more bodybuilders again, and it kind of sparked it again. I got with a better coach. My coach now, he's so smart. He's one of my best friends. Um, and I really think that I have the potential to be an IFBB pro and maybe even compete in the Olympia. But I just have to keep trying. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
not never give up. Never. Yeah.
It's crazy, getting to talk to Olympians, kind of like how everybody's journey is so different and how, I mean, I've talked to someone who trained for so many years even before they got into bodybuilding, and then it took them another 15 years, into the sport before they reached that Olympia stage. And like, it's just amazing, like you said, what can happen when you just kind of keep going at it.
Yeah, you're always improving. You're always trying to improve. Some people get there way faster than others. Um, and some people have better genetics. Some people have access to better supplements. Some people have access to better coaching. There's so many aspects of this sport that it is pretty crazy. Like the style of coaching. There's people, I have PCOS, and so it's been very hard to properly peak me, and I can't really eat a lot of carbs because I present almost like a diabetic. So like a type 2 diabetic. So I take metformin twice a day. My hormones are not the typical hormones. Like my hormones fluctuate all over the place. Women with PCOS, if you're unfamiliar, have a tendency to have higher testosterone levels than the average female and higher androgens in the blood, which can be very beneficial in the sport of bodybuilding. Um, However, with the insulin resistance, that's pretty difficult because carbing me up for a show, it, it's so hard. It's so unpredictable too. Like I came in really flat at the clash that I competed in on November 5th. And so what we did for Junior USA is like, all right, we're not going to come in flat. we're gonna try to come in really full and look good, and we spilled, and so I lost my lines. And so this next show, we're gonna have to be really careful. Like we're not gonna have to we can't eat as much as we did leading up into the show. Um, so yeah, that some people have different diseases or comorbidities, if you want to call them, that we call them in the PT world, that cause them to have to work that much harder.
Right.
It's really hard for me to get lean. I can put on muscle so easily. I put on 6 to 8 pounds of muscle in like a few months. In my I didn't really take that much of an off season. So I competed on November 5th, and then I started my prep again in like February. I started like doing my getting back into the groove of things, and then started doing hard prep in like February. I think I was 12 weeks out from the show that I just did on my birthday, which is February 25th. So yeah, so like I took like a 2 month off season, and in that off season from November to February, before we started to really cut hard, I put on like 6 to 8 pounds of muscle, which is really cool. But I have to suffer really hard to get lean, like 2 hours of cardio a day, no carbs, like so it's some people just got it, and then some people you just have to have a coach that knows your body, that is very knowledgeable, and that can guide you and point you in the right directions. It's having a good coach that knows you, and a knowledgeable coach that actually cares about your well-being. Because a lot of these coaches will push these drugs on these women specifically, and it's just like, at what cost? Like, yeah, you're an Olympian, but you're losing all your hair. Yeah, like your facial structure has changed from when you started bodybuilding to what you are now. Like your jaw bones are different, your brow bones are different. Like, what's the cost? You know. So
Right.
it's yeah, just finding yourself a coach that like cares about you and wants you to succeed, but at a pace that isn't going to be detrimental to your health and well-being.
Yeah. I mean, I think bodybuilding attracts such like a personality that is kind of like all in, all or nothing, go hard,
Mm-hmm.
no days off, like all those kind of like stereotypical things that you hear. I think it just like attracts that. Have you ever considered, I think you said you did wellness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever considered like figure just because you have that potential, or would that be almost too challenging to do the leaner aspect?
I competed in figure for my first show right before the wellness division came to the US. So it's really popular in Europe and Brazil, and wellness just came back, what came to the US in 2020. And so I competed in 2019, and then in 2020, like I had legs, and I had to run my legs off for figure. And but my coach was like, listen, like you want to compete, and I know that you want to compete, so let's compete in figure because you've got a great base, you have a good wide back and tight waist and legs, but like you can't train legs too hard because you want to have that balance. So the only other division I probably want to compete in, because I just love the posing and that I would love to be able to do a routine, an actual routine, is probably physique. The thing is, like, I don't know if I want to get that big.
Right.
um I love wellness. I think I get to keep. I'm not saying that any other competitor is not feminine, because I think every competitor, every woman competitor, every competitor period, like, it's the physique is beautiful. I love bodybuilding, but in my opinion, with the wellness division, I get to stay a little bit soft. I get to keep my curves, and I love the femininity of it. Um, and I have a good wellness shape. I compete in those other divisions? Probably. My training would be very different. My diet would be different. My supplementation would be very different. But I love wellness. So yeah, but the only other thing, if I wanted to, just because I'd want to do a routine and pose, would probably be physique, because I just think it's so, if you done correctly, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Like, what is, like, for example, um, Terrence Ruffin, his posing is beautiful. Rachel Daniels, her posing is amazing. Those are only two I can think of off the top of my head, and they're local in Tampa. But I'm sure just watching other Olympians, other pros, even some of these amateurs are amazing at posing. I just think that classic style or just bodybuilding posing in general, it's really cool and something that I'd like to do. My boyfriend Will, he is moving down the classic. He was a super heavy for a little bit there. Then he tore his chest and lost a bunch of weight. And so now he's got like a great classic build. And watching him pose, because usually what happens is that I go to the gym, we go to the gym together. I go and do my cardio because I still have to do like 35 to 40 minutes. It's going to be more soon. Um, and he poses, he practices posing, and it's just really cool to watch, you know, maybe even just like do it, maybe not compete in that division, but just actually practice posing and learning how to do it. Because I'm not saying I'm a physique competitor. I'm not saying I'm a physique lean, but when I do get to like getting closer to stage ready, you can see a lot. Wellness competitors, don't get me wrong, like they get hard. They get very hard. And what we found is it's not body fat that because they say they want that softer look. They get almost figure lean, but they spill them. So they have that nice soft look. But a lot of these wellness competitors, they have striated glutes before they step on stage. They're peeled, but the thing is, they spill them a little bit to give them that soft look. It's not actual body fat.
Crazy, like the scientific background and like all the stuff that goes into that. Do you feel like your last kind of like getting into it this time, since you got back into it, things have become more of like analytical, scientific, and things like that?
For sure. And working with Derek, my coach, he's super smart. He knows his stuff. He's educated himself. He's worked with AJ Sims, which is a really great coach. That's a very well known coach, and it's a good friend of his. And he just is so knowledgeable. And there's so many ways to approach it too, to prep a client. So it's really cool. Maybe even getting him on this podcast, if he's willing to do it, that'd be really interesting to talk to him. He's fun to talk. He's a fun dude to talk to. And then Victoria, the girl I recommend you, she just got her Fitness Pro card. I don't know if she's terrible at the phone, so I don't know if you've already reached out. I'll tell her if you have reached out to get back to you. But she's terrible at getting back. Yeah, so if she hasn't got back to you, I'll talk to her. But they're both really great people. Some of my best friends. It's really cool to have. I went from having no friends in bodybuilding and just being by myself and working 2 jobs and living alone in Tampa when I first moved to Tampa, to having a huge group of friends. I don't know if you were seeing my social media, like we just went to a music festival, a massive group of bodybuilders. It was so cool. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals and pros specifically, Olympians specifically, it's going to make you want to be one.
Yeah.
It's going to make you strive to be greater. Well, it was a wonderful talking to you. I'm about to go hit the gym right now.
Awesome.
So you can live vicariously through me.
I will.
And it was great. Thank you so much for hitting me up and let me be a part of this. It really is an honor. It's very flattering. So thank you.
Absolutely. If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.